It was in May, around the 20-something of May last year, so it's well over a year now. I don't know what happened to that. We abolished the scorpions, the hawks were put in place. We don't have the hawks anymore. I don't know where they are. We don't even have an MPA. So I don't know. I think, Marianne, do me a favor, ask them if they are still in existence. What happened to that dossier? In fact, what happened subsequent to that? They sent people to my house, and then they said, Ms. Mentor, you have listed president as one of the culprits. We have tied our arms. For as long as the president is one of the people you are citing of wrongdoing, we cannot investigate. Are you willing to drop his name? I said to them, I don't know if I'm willing to drop his name, but I'm convinced that the president is having a hand in all this. So there was a slight change to insofar as the president, but at the end I insisted that, because I had written when I gave the statement, I've elaborated on why I believed the president is the centerpiece of the whole state capture thing, how he enabled it and how he benefits with his son and others. At the end, they said that we must reach a compromise, and I will not totally exonerate him. At the end, I want to write a statement that I believe that there is a general corrupt relationship between the president and the Guptas and some boards of SOEs and some cabinet ministers that needs to be investigated. I would leave this to the NPA and the Hawks I'm not backing off on saying that there is a corrupt relationship between the president and the Guptas and some SOEs and some ministers. I never heard about the ex. Then my aunt, that's 83 years old, called me from Mosselbaai. Said the Hawks claim they are looking for me all over. Where am I? I said no, they were in my house, they know where to find me. Then they came to take another statement after there was a furor that they had gone AWOL on my, that was the last I saw them. I spent another day, waste of time. So I don't know, please ask them that. I would like to know the answer, the response to. Everything that people say I have not spoken about, they actually mean I have not spoken about publicly, through the media, through a fora that everybody will be privy to what I have been saying. But I am, every one of these things that happened that I accounted for in the book, I had reported one way or another to somebody senior in the organization. So it was not like it was complete silence. But I think the time for my book is now, and time for the things that I'm saying in my book is now, especially when our economy has been made to bleed. The state has been captured in a manner in which it has been. We have seen a rise in abuses of women and all this. So it might not be your favorite time, but it is time that works for me. My daughter is 25 years old, my firstborn child. At the conference of the ANC in Durban Westville, remember there was first a consultative one, which was shortly followed by the 48th conference of the ANC on South African soil. It was at Durban Westville. My baby was 3 months old. That's when Zuma made his first sexual advances towards me. It was lunchtime. He had parked the car he was driving in. He was obviously in the back seat. I was going out to nursery where my baby was kept. The mother and the father had agreed to meet lunchtime at the nursery to spend 1 hour with the child, with the baby. And when he said he would like to invite me to his hotel room, he wanted to know where I stayed and he would arrange for someone to fetch me. I said to him, but sir, I have a 3-month-old baby. And he said, don't worry, I'll make arrangements for that. So that is your time span. Dates back 25 years. And then it happened again when I was chair of caucus, when suddenly I was asking questions about certain transactions that were happening in caucus. Then my meetings with him used to be in my caucus office. Then there was a request that we shift to his office. That's what happened. Now you can calculate for yourself how long was I ANC. It was just before, a couple of months before he was fired as deputy president. So that is your time span. I am in touch with many ANC members at all levels. But because I don't want to meddle with things in Parliament, President Thabo Mbeki used to favorably say he doesn't want to rule from the grave. So I'm kind of cautious on discussing how current serving ANC MPs will vote or may vote or what they are considering, because just touching on that topic with some of them could mean that I'm trying to influence how they would vote. I think we have all said that we are putting it to their consciences to do the right thing. But I've discussed all matters like the state capture, like the president, but the vote of no confidence, I'll be lying if I'll say to you, I have discussed it directly with any one of the serving MPs. However, I had a telephonic discussion with Dr. Khoza, because I feel that I need to give her support. I would be failing in my duties if I don't extend a helping hand. And in that conversation, she told me about her dire security situation. All I could do was to comfort her. I don't want to cast aspersions and say they won't, if they request, they won't be given appropriate security protection. What if I dissuade them from accepting security from the state and then they get harmed along the way, and I have influenced their decision not to take up security protection from the state? I myself am very reluctant to take up state protection, because I think I might die in the hands of the very ones that would be sent under the pretext that they are coming to look after me. However, where I live, I am surrounded, I am living next to a police station that is manned by highly professional leaders in the police services. And during moments when I panic for one reason or another, I know that I have that ear. I've done that many times. And they don't do anything that is out of the book. But where I stay, I have 100% satisfaction that the law enforcement services in the name of the police in the area are highly professional, are highly sensitive. But I cannot transport my security, my approach to my security question. I cannot want to export that to another person. I think we are all adults. ANC MPs are adults. Every single one will decide what is best for themselves. up to so far, I'm still standing. I'm not a nervous wreck. I'm not as mad as they tell you I am, because there are those professional people that not only render a service to me, but render a service to everybody in that area, highly professionally. And I think it was God's grace that I moved to that area. I touched names of people as things happened to me that were involved. Others I referred to them by title, others I referred to them by name. I've referred to Zuma by name. I have referred to Koniwe by name. I have referred to the girl that Goniwe has sexually attempted to assail by name. I have mentioned Natim Tetwa by name in terms of Marikana, in terms of how I know him, having been deployed with him, the many failures of leadership that I have witnessed from him, and but that I did not expect that a big failure of leadership would result in Marikana. But I've argued that I've seen qualities of leadership failure in him before. Excuse me, some water please. I've mentioned Natin Hleko by name, as he was the chief whip when I came to Parliament. I have mentioned John Jeffrey, as he was councillor for the president at the time when certain things occurred. So a whole list of things, and list of people. As I said, that was just a couple of months before he was forced to relinquish his post as deputy president. So as we all know, he was out of the system for a while, and then he came back as the ANC president, and he came back as the president of the Republic. And on the day that he was sworn in the chambers of Parliament, when everybody was congratulating him, I also stood and congratulated him. So I've had an encounter with him since he has become the president, in that sense, that I congratulated him after he was elected as president of the Republic. I'm speaking out because I'm encouraging others to speak out. I don't think that I was the only victim. There are many victims that I know of. I last year dealt with sexual harassment case that was also publicly on my Facebook page, of a woman in the Free State that was beaten by a member of an MP that's a member of the ANC that serves in the NCOP. They were both married. They had an kind of extramarital affairs, and then when the lady dumped him, he beat her up very badly and all those things. I know of when somebody comes to you and says, I was a victim of sexual harassment, and I had a case like 3 months ago, you don't push that person to go public if they don't want to go public, or if they want you to help them. Firstly, you counsel them. Firstly, then you ask them gently, what other help do you want me to give to you? You don't say to a person, go public with your issue. If they choose to report things internally in the structure, you cannot coerce them to go public outside the structure. So I cannot say it's endemic in the ANC only. I for sure know that it's endemic in society generally. But I don't know what's happening in the EFF. I'm not there. I don't know what's happening in DA. I don't know. So I can't say there is or there is no endemic culture of sexual harassment in those political parties. But I do know for sure in the party that I come from, and in the party, in society, Every day we read about these things. We read about young women being raped in universities. There is not a month. I mean, recently there was a spate of horrific things that were happening to women. So I don't know if those are not the signs that this problem is equally endemic in society. However, I usually say, when a ruling party or leadership that's ruling a country or that's leading an organization are sexual pests themselves or don't care about sexual harassment and abuse of women, they are silently allowing the culture to grow and to fester. So I don't think, in my opinion, the NC has done enough to arrest the culture of sexual harassment of women in its ranks. And I don't believe that the South African government and South African society generally has done enough to arrest sexual harassment on women in this country. The first encounter, obviously, he was sitting in the car, I was sitting outside, he had rolled down the car window, and I was in a hurry to. So after I'm satisfied, I've told him that there is no way. In fact, incidentally, he asked me where I come from. I said I came from Kimberley, and he said that can I organize diamonds for him, and I said to him, if you want diamonds, go and speak to De Beers. And then I walked away. So it was not long, but in his office, when I was chair of caucus, I thought we would have a meeting on the boardroom table as we used to have in my office. So he suggested that we must. Firstly, there were two guards. One guard remained at the door. The other guard went inside the office, me and him. And then he asked the guard to leave and told him, I'm surely not in danger of her, so can you excuse us and close the door behind you, which he did. So I was settling on the boardroom table. He says, no, let's sit comfortably on the two couches that were at 90 degrees to each other with a coffee table here. So naturally, because I had papers for the meeting, the agenda for that meeting and the minutes from the previous meeting that we had, because he was head of political committee of the ANC, I was heading caucus. I put her papers in front of her couch, but then he moved and came to sit on my couch. And I kept on moving away, and he kept on moving towards me. I kept on moving away and then I took my bag from the coffee table and put it, handbag, in between us. And then he took it, and then that is persistence. That I kept on moving away, and he kept on coming closer, tighter and tighter. And then he dared, when I create a barrier with my handbag, he dared to move. And then he dared still, shoved, I don't know if it's how we pronounce it properly, his hand between my thighs. If that is not persistence, I don't know what is persistence, really. And that's the time at which I grabbed my bag, hit him with it, went out of his office. Then the guard outside asked me, what's happening, what happened? I said, go and ask him what happened. And then I left. So he was persistent. In the first instance, I can't say he was persistent, because it was a very brief encounter. Who are you? Are you coming from where? What is your hotel? Can I send somebody to fetch you? No, I have a 3-month-old baby. No, I'll make arrangements for that. Don't worry. No, sir, I cannot. And then walking away. I think the second encounter was very persistent. Dislodging the predators of the state is going to be a mammoth task, because they're deeply entrenched. They were left alone for too long. But maybe I should share something without sharing names. I think people are seeing that it is possible for the tide to turn by way of a new dispensation. I have been in conversation with a few senior public servants that are planning to come forward. That are seeking advice on how best to do it. That's how they approach it. They are also very concerned people, officials in the security sector that are willing to do their bit without causing havoc, to state what they know and what they have seen, to try and save the country. So in that way, these people can be dislodged, in that more and more South Africans, including those that are in the state at the center where these things happened or are happening, are beginning to realize that they can no longer continue to participate in facilitating those things, or they can no longer remain quiet without bringing forward information. So I think South Africans can dislodge all this that is happening. The question is how. Will it only be dislodged by a general election in 2019? And the other question, if that is the case, how much damage would have occurred between now and then? But I think it is possible. I don't want to believe that it is impossible to deal with the problems that South Africa is facing today. Coming to the ANC, what did you ask me about the ANC, Donald?
Will the good people that come back, will good people take over the ANC again?
Will good people take over the ANC again? I wish good people can take over South Africa again. Whether they come from the ANC, or they come from the EFF, or they come from DA, or they come from civil society, or they come from coalitions. I think the ANC needs a bit of space and time to deal with its mess. The mess that it has exported to the economy and to South Africa. Yes, yes, there will be a conference of the ANC in December. Yes, if Nkosazana Zuma takes over, it will be the quick end of the ANC. Yes, if Cyril takes over, it might not be as quick as when it will happen with Nkosazana. But I think we should begin to worry about South Africa more than we worry about a party that has brought us up to here so far in the mess that we are in. Yes, we don't want chaos. Yes, we don't want a civil war. I hope the ANC will correct its mess, but if you look into history, parties that came into power promising like the ANC was, that took over to become as endemically corrupt as the ANC has become today, inevitably lose power and inevitably takes a long time to recover. I don't think that, in fact, I can promise you now, there's going to be a splinter out of the ANC come December. Now, I keep on saying to South Africans, don't look for power to restore the country elsewhere. Look for it amongst yourselves. How can you expect a party that brought us to this mess to be the party that salvages the country from the same mess. That party must sort out its mess. And South Africans must take up responsibility to sort out the mess that the party has plunged South Africa into. But there are good people in the ANC still.
Who is that splinter going to be, if I may interrupt? Who's going to constitute that splinter away from the ANC, in your view?
I know there are a lot of happenings that are leading, that are pointing towards a splinter that will again, like in the main Cope came from the Eastern Cape. There is a lot of such talk in the Eastern Cape of forming a kind of party that could somehow resemble the old values, ethos. But if you ask me, I don't think that South Africa needs a new political party to save the mess we are, to salvage the mess we are in. I know for certain that I don't know, I cannot speak about people. People are complex creatures, unpredictable. But even Jessie Duarte herself, or was it Baleka or both, hinted that there could be a splinter out of the ANC. Now, what are you going to do if there is a splinter, Donald? Are you going to drop dead? The ANC is its own enemy. It's killing itself. It has killed itself and all those things. I don't know why are we so transfixed on the ANC. Why are we not transfixed on the country and fixing the country? There will be a splinter. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yes, sometimes you can be wrong in your projections, but I strongly believe there is going to be one. If it's not there, if it doesn't happen, when the ANC emerges intact without a splinter post-December, is that the end of our problems? Will that be the end of South Africa's problems? I don't think so. He was just pushing an agenda of his faction. That is what they had been saying before the policy conference. I think that is an exercise in making sure that whichever way his faction loses, whichever way his faction wins. You know, I've actually thought a lot about Nkosazana Zuma of late and her character. And why we only seeing this character now. We all know that he was not in the Zuma camp in Polokwane. Now, of late, the way this faction is operating, I was asking myself if it was a strategy for her to be in the Mbeki camp then and Zuma to lead another camp, so that whichever way they will have a footing in either camp that will emerge victorious. I think that is a factional ploy, and it actually doesn't make sense, and it's actually laughable to say whoever competes must become number two, must become deputy president. But the issue of two deputy presidents was mooted by their faction months before the policy conference. They are circulating these slates. So it's not like, in fact, they are proposing even 3 DSGs in the party and all those things. So, but what I found stupid was to say whoever is contesting and comes number 2 must become the deputy president. And I think his supporters are also saying that it's ridiculous. So I think that is a high possibility. It is a very high possibility. It is possible that, in fact, that's the one possibility. The second possibility is that, which is related to the first possibility, is that they were participating themselves. You know, like this thing of plea bargaining. of some sort. So if people come forward, they might be hoping that they would reduce the impact of being held accountable if they come forward before they are caught or they are exposed. That is possible. But my modus operandi, whenever somebody says that I have piece of information that I want to share with you, firstly I do my homework and I do a background check of those people. And then after I do my background check, I say, yes, what is your story? And then they tell their story, and I say, I will go and apply my mind. So going to apply my mind means I'm going to check what are the reasons and is there substance in what is being alleged. And when I return, I ask, where were you? Have you fully disclosed what you yourself were doing and all those things? And in that way, that's how I managed to put pieces of puzzles together. Yes, it might be, in fact, somebody would say, I was there when something happened, when so-and-so signed this thing. Others would say, so-and-so forced me to sign for this and that contract. Yes, on face value, it's information, but why, it's another step. I can never know for sure. There will always be hidden reasons. There would always be reasons of self-preservation. But it could also be possible that people were doing this in their corners, not realizing that the scale is so huge. Now the scale is carrying them and they can see that the tide is turning. So now they want to save their skin because Zuma will go to Dubai. Where will they go to? We will catch them. So I don't know. I know who are the thugs that are trying to intimidate me. But I would be lying if I would tell you I know who is intimidating Dr. Koza or the few. And incidentally, the people that have told me they are being intimidated around the vote, I think I only know of about 3 women other than Dr. Koza. I don't know who is intimidating them. If I ask them who is intimidating you, what am I going to do with it? What is important is that they are being intimidated, and generally I can give advice of what they should do. But once I ask them, as if I'll protect them from those guys, those thugs, do you know who is intimidating you? No, go and lodge a complaint. Take precautions, be extra careful. I know of 3 female MPs other than Dr. Koza that are being threatened.
Who's threatening you in particular?
Zuma supporters and beneficiaries of state capture.
Are any of them members of the security forces?
Others I think, 2 I think are. I can share with you that I got a call from the Northern Cape from a person that is a retired spy that was sent by somebody to warn me. Not that that person that's warning me is threatening me, is telling me to be aware of certain things, and but because this other person does not want to disclose who they are, that wants to warn me, rather sends an old retired spy that's from the Northern Cape, because I'm from the Northern Cape, to take a flight and to come and tell me to be careful and to watch my back. So others are stupid. I mean, the most stupid ones that I don't worry about are the ones that threaten me openly on Facebook. Those ones really. Because I come from here, I just insult them a little bit and get rid of them. But the more serious ones are the big shots that you don't obviously see. But you see, fear, I sometimes say, and people think I'm naive when I say, these threats, I will not take them into consideration to a point where I am paralyzed, not to continue doing what I have been doing. Because Sometimes they don't really mean it that they would kill you. They just want to shut you up. But when you begin to feel that it's getting serious, then you take the precaution that you are supposed to.
But they killed Suna Fenton. In effect.
But what happened to the journalist that Menjilo saw, that uncovered Nkandla? We don't know who killed her, we don't know whatever, and Suna was called by heartbreak syndrome.
By implication.
Yes, by implication. So people will fall one by one and there will be reasons given why they are falling.
But they shouldn't be like that.
No, I know of one man that was that has joined the DA out of those kind of threats and whatever made, in fact two. One has decided to join the DA that's in the Northern Cape, and one was made to vacate his office, but he's back in office. But it was not necessarily related to the vote of no confidence. It was related to their articulations on state capture, and they are seen to be supporting me. But the women that I'm talking about them because I was asked if I know of other women that have, other people that have been threatened, like Dr. Koza has been. But I think women are a soft target in terms of being intimidated.
They've got children.
I think that pattern is emerging, yes. It will reinforce the message that I'm giving to South Africans over and over again, that the ANC is not having the will, nor the capability currently to do right, to do the right things to save South Africa.
Thank you.